What's up, guys? John Halhi. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me turn this lamp on. See if I can get a bit of light in this bitch. It's Saturday midday here. I'm just with my kids right now, just having a little rest. It's actually raining outside, so I'm going to take them out soon and have a bit of fun. Somewhere else. I was going to take them to the park this morning, but yeah, just kind of have a bit of fun with them. I want to talk to you guys today about some things that's been happening in my trading career and some things that's been going on in my personal trading. You see, back over 10 years ago now, I got introduced to trading. And when I first saw it, I was a guy that, I really struggled at school. I really struggled at school. And it's interesting, I was talking to my partner just recently, and I was actually saying to her that it's really interesting. My math skills, my grammar and my English and my spelling has gone up so much more since being involved with the stock market than any other school or lesson or years and years and years of being involved with that ever did. And it's really interesting, right? Like, I hated school. I just didn't want to be at school. I didn't do well for that reason. I wanted to play sports. I was a very active young guy. Still am to this day, as you guys know, with some of those crazy gym videos that I do. But, like I did yesterday. But, I'm a very active guy, right? And I'm a very, so I like playing sports and I like doing that sort of stuff as well. So, so I like doing that sort of stuff. And what ended up happening was, I just didn't like it. So I left school at year 10. That's year 10 here in Australia. And I went and started working with my dad as a landscape gardener, laying grass and doing rockeries and sprinkler systems and training walls and just learning that, I think it was about 16 when I left school. I hated school. I wanted to get out of school as quick as possible and start working. I just didn't like it. But it's really interesting, when I first got involved with the stock market, so I started learning, I saw that. And the way that I saw it was, there's this thing out there called the stock market. And I don't know why, but out of everything in my life, that was the thing that really drew me in. And I think it drew me in because I realized that I saw this thing that was out there. And I thought, man, I could really start to, especially when you start seeing the marketing and all that sort of stuff as well, you start to see that, you start to see that you can do really well, and you can do well from the markets. And unfortunately, the marketing doesn't really help it, right? Because it's like, make $40,000 a year or $100,000 or $1 million a year and so on and so forth. It's like the marketing and the way that we think the stock market is. It's really interesting, like, we'll spend 4 years and $100,000 doing a uni degree, but we won't spend a year doing our stock market degree, will we? It's so different, but the stock market is no different. And no doubt about you guys, with me, I went through that lessons. And if you're going to not have that long-term view on your trading, those lessons are really going to creep up. Not being patient, trying to force it, not really developing a system that you truly believe in, blaming everyone else, not really developing the belief that you can do this, not learning how to read the chart properly, and so on and so forth. So when I started to trade, I started to look at all these different systems, right? And it was all these different trading systems, which I think is important for the first couple of years. But over the time, I used to trade some some futures trading systems, the E-mini mainly, E-mini S&P. Traded that for a long time. And I traded different systems within that. I traded the way that I saw it, looking at the market. I traded some other systems as well too. And then what ended up happening, guys, was I looked at that, and I looked at the market itself, and I saw that everything that we've been taught and everything that we think about the market is actually the opposite. And what I mean by that is that I always thought, by looking at the markets, that we had to be really, really clever to do well for the markets. That in some level, that if the system is not complicated and it hasn't got 33 rules, then we're doing something wrong. Or I always thought that, that we need to have all these indicators on there, right? Because that's how we're going to make money. Because because it's this thing out there, right? And surely it's got to be complicated for us to make money. For some reason on a deeper level, because there's this thing out there, right? We believe it's got to be complicated to actually make money. So therefore, we actually make our trading system complicated. And all it does is, when you do that and you make your system complicated, one, you don't really have a belief in that system. And secondly, you're always second guessing yourself whether this is a good trade or not. And throughout my entire trading career, like I had Bollinger Bands and moving averages and stochastics and CCIs and all these different things. And I look at people that use those as a trading guidance to getting in and get out of the markets. And it's the surefire way to stopping your progress moving forward. So over the last 10 years or more, guys, I've really learnt that, to get ahead in the markets and to do really well in the markets, it's to do really well in the markets, guys, it really does come down to a simple formula, a simple analysis. And the really interesting thing is, guys, is that even just recently, my system now it's gotten simpler and simpler and simpler and simpler. And the more simple that my system gets, the better trader I am. Like right now, guys, I'm even going right down now to having just a blank chart and then volume, and that's it. Now, I still use moving averages as a gauge of momentum, but even just recently when I look at a trade, just like, for example, it's Saturday here in Australia. So I woke up this morning to trade the last hour of the US stock market. And I was just looking at the blank chart and looking at the volume. Now, if you know how to read the market properly, you know exactly what you're looking for, you can spot those really nice setups. And one thing I've found, guys, is that by doing that and just reading what the market is telling me, I can find some really, really, really good setups. And I did this morning. I got into a really nice trade this morning. So we'll see how that goes next week. But one thing I've found, guys, is that the better I can read the chart itself without anything on there, the better trader I'll be. Because that's the only real truth in the markets. That when you read the market and you read the chart is always telling us something. Always telling us something. And each day that goes past, it's actually developing a story. And the better we can read that story from the chart, the better we can understand what that chart is telling us right now, the better trader we'll be. Oh, look, we had a breakout day today. Okay, cool. Oh, look, it actually reversed and went down. Okay, that must mean that's a false breakout. Oh, look, we've got a few sideways days, a few doji days. Okay, it looks like few doji days. Okay, it looks like we're going to get a breakout soon. Okay, it went down. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like it's just by focusing on that and really analyzing the markets, and the better you can read that chart, the more you can get in tune with what the market is telling you, the better trader you'll be. And I found, especially even this year, and even recent times, the more I've actually removed from the actual chart itself and to really just focus on what the market is telling me, and using volume as a gauge of what's really happening that day as well too, because I know exactly what I'm looking for, I know exactly what type of setup I'm looking for, the trading has gotten simpler and simpler and simpler, and my system and my profits have actually gone up. My confidence gone up, my profits gone up, and so much more. So one thing I want to encourage you guys to do, like over my entire trading career, I always thought that it had to be complicated. I always thought they had to have all these indicators, and you see all these different people, right? And one thing I've noticed is this. All my mentors, my mentor, one of my closest mentors right now, he makes a lot of money. A lot of money. And one thing I have found is that the people who make a lot of money in the markets, their trading is actually quite simple. The people who do okay in the markets, like maybe $1,000, maybe a few $1,000s a month, they generally got a system that they're very short-term trading, right? It's like scalping, against the trend type trading, and so on and so forth. Make sense? So one thing I've found is that the more simpler my system is, the more my profits go up. And there's a lot of things that goes along with that, like trading with the trend and so on and so forth. But no matter what happens, guys, with your trading, I want to give you guys a bit of a, if I went back to myself over 10 years ago and said, okay, what sort of lessons would I teach myself? I'd say throw every single different indicator out there on the planet and spend so much time focusing on the charts, reading the charts. And I actually thought I was doing that myself. I started learning from mentors at the time that really helped me understand the chart itself, peaks and troughs, and the highs and lows, and the strength and moves, and reading what the story is telling me on the chart. Because the chart is always giving us the guidance. The chart is the number one thing we need to focus on. The guidance there. And really, guys, if you can start to bring it down to just chart, maybe a few moving averages and volume, and you start to get a very clear picture of what you're looking for, trading becomes so much simpler. And it doesn't become complicated at all. And and you can adapt that. You can adapt the exact same system to any market. Like I trade the US stock market, but I've also been focused on the Forex market as well too, and look at the Forex market with the exact same system. It absolutely just fucking rocks. Just crushes it, right? Just absolutely just crushes it. It does so well. Very high win-loss ratio and so on and so forth. But again, it's developing that plan, developing that system, and keeping it real simple. If you can start to develop a plan and it's developed from the chart itself, and maybe add some moving averages. Now, I use moving averages to gauge momentum at the time. Okay, so that's what I do. Momentum, because I like to trade when there's really strong momentum in the markets. Because if you like to trade with strong momentum, you're likely to do really well. If there's not strong momentum in the markets at the time, then like you start to sort of second guess yourself and so on and so forth. Make sense? So trade with momentum, trade with the trend. And the best thing I can say, guys, is that my trading, especially this year, the last 12 months, this year itself, has been a massive progress year for me. Because it's really simplifying my trading systems and seeing a gateway out of this and just keeping it real simple. And now I have a trading plan and trading system that I absolutely 100% believe in. There's no hesitation with these trades. And once again, guys, I talked about yesterday on yesterday's video, but I was talking about, trading the Forex market. I've been watching the Forex market, and a lot of people believe that you've got a stock market trading system or a Forex trading system or a future trading system. It's like, no. Once you know how the markets work, every single market operates the exact same way. It's not like I have a Forex trading system. It's like, no. It's one of my mentor who makes a lot of money every month, hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. He said that his system, the system is developed to work on any market because it's developed from the chart. If you can develop a trading system that's based on the chart itself, you can trade any market because every single market operates the same way. A chart is a chart is a chart. Whether it's a 1 minute Forex chart, an hourly chart, a daily stock chart, a weekly a futures chart, every single market develops the exact same patterns. And once you can develop a trading system around that, you start to do so well. And you start to make more progress. And after a while, you start to develop a system and a process that you start to believe in. And that's when your profits go up. But unfortunately, as I said before, back well over 10 years ago, I thought you had to be really clever or you need to have a system that's complicated and all this sort of stuff. Make sense? So anyway, guys, relax for morning for me. Just relaxing. I've actually been fasting all morning as well, so I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. It's almost lunchtime for me. So I want to get just fasting. Fasting is more not for weight loss, or a little bit for fat loss, but also more for health as well too. Just give my body a bit of a break before I get into some lunch today. And also writing out my goals, guys. One thing that's been really helping me every day is focusing on that long-term plan. Not focusing on what's happening today, but focusing where I'm going. Even as I said before, as I said yesterday's video, 2 months. Focusing on the next 2 months where I want to be at Christmas. And then, guys, one thing I've found that there's something powerful in writing out your goals. So what I've been doing lately anyway is every morning and every night, I've actually been writing out my goals. Just something simple, like goals for me and my partner, goals from where I want to live, goals for my trading, goals for my business, and just something simple as, I am now making $100,000 per month from trading. Now, obviously, the bigger the goal, the longer it's going to take you get there. Makes sense, guys? But, if you want to start developing something smaller, like I'm now making whatever, or business or relationships. I say me and my partner are madly in love. We love each other dearly, and she tells me all the time, and we are so happy with each other. Just writing that down, there's something magical about putting ink on paper, writing it down, and then letting it go. So I have these long-term goals I have long-term goals for my business, trading, partnership, and also living. So I just write like one-liner. I write it as if I'm experiencing that. And then I let it go to the universe. And I know without a doubt, 1 month, 2 months or so moving down the track, I'll actually start to experience that. I know without a doubt. But I've got to write it down and think about it and just let it go. And just go do the work I need to do. And trust in the process. Trust in the process. Have faith every day. Be present in the moment every day. But have faith that what you're writing down is on its way to you. And just relax. One of my mentors said to me a while ago, said, John, the train for enlightenment is not going to arrive at its destination any quicker. No, sorry. The train for enlightenment is on its way to you. But you hopping in that train and running around like a madman trying to force things and trying to rush things is not going to get it to its destination any quicker. It's on its way. Relax. It's in the bag. When we try to force things with relationships or anything in our life, health and fitness, trading, business, nothing seems to work out and we seem to go backwards. Write down your goals, think about it, let it go about your life, be grateful for the present moment, and allow things to naturally happen. Anyway, guys, that's a little spell for you guys. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Things are naturally forming into my life because I'm helping myself get into that peaceful and relaxed state every day. Not all the time, but by helping myself get in that peaceful, relaxed state, it's helped make better decisions. Having faith and trust in the process that what I want is on its way to me. Have an amazing day, guys.